Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Melissa from the Parent Collective. So I wanted to start off talking a little bit about what we do and who we are. We've had lots of people email in, they've seen our videos, and they want to know who are we, what do we do? So Jessica Hill and myself, Melissa Griffin, we run the Parent Collective. We got the idea from the NCT in England. Now what the NCT is, it's the preeminent National Childbirth Trust prenatal education service, and they offer classes for mums and dads that are looking to gain education but also meet other pregnant mums and dads. So Jessica and I both took the classes in England, and they organise everyone by their zip code and their due date, with the idea being that you come along, you're pregnant, you get the education that you need to help you in those first early months and years, but you also meet other mums and dads that live around the corner from you and are due at the same time. Genius. So some of my girls that I adore that still live in England are some of my closest friends to this day. Our babies have obviously been around since Dot together, and the same with Jessica. Some of her besties are some of the girls that she met in her class. So that's what we do. The Parent Collective is based in Fairfield County. We offer prenatal classes where we organise everyone by their zip code and their due date, with the idea being you come along and you make your mummy and daddy friends. So what we also decided from the classes was to start these videos, because we have so many mums and dads that leave us, they graduate from the Parent Collective, and they then have a million questions: nutrition, travelling, how to introduce their baby to their pets, all this kind of thing. So we started the videos, and hence we're doing the one today, which is tips with travelling with your baby. So now that I've answered that question, let's begin. So I think it's so important that when you're booking your flight, you have to plan your flight, if you can, around your baby's schedule, and 100% plan your seating ahead of time. So some airlines will offer a small bassinet, which is a little bit like a Moses basket on the flight. They tend to be up the front of the plane. If you can, I would get that booked. So get on the phone to your airline once you've booked your ticket, or while you're talking to your reservation agent, say to them that you want to be at the front of the plane and you ideally want the bassinet seats for the baby. If you can afford to, and if maybe your baby's a little bit older, if you can afford to book the baby their own seat, I can promise you it is well worth every penny. And I know it's hard because that's expensive to do, but if you can, there is a company that offers, actually there's lots of companies that do it, but you can buy car seats for the plane, or it might even be that your car seat would be suitable to take on the plane. So the baby has their own seat, you and your partner are in your own seats, and you can just strap them straight in. Some of them even come on wheels, and there are some companies that even offer sort of like okay, I wrote it down, a Bricker roll and go car seat transporter. So you get your car seat, you click it in, you're in the airport, you take them in their car seat, they've got wheels, and then you take them straight onto the plane, and then you just strap them in. So that's genius. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, call the airline and find out if they offer help, especially if you're traveling on your own. Mum or dad, if you're traveling on your own with your baby, give the airline a call, ask them the question, do you offer any assistance for parents? I mean, this could be the difference between you being completely stressed out or it being a smooth journey. Number three, some airlines offer speedy passes to get you through the security lines, and some airports will even allow you to scooch you on through when you've got the baby in a pram and things like that. So be super nice. They're always lovely. Ask the question, is there some way that we can get through security a little bit quicker, whether it means you pay an extra $20, or whether someone says to you, yeah, you know, come along. My husband and I have actually been pushed through first class before, so the first class security queue, which was wonderful. But again, that will save you a lot of time with the baby. So top 3 tips: when booking your flight, plan around your baby's schedule, plan your seating, super important. Maybe try and book their own seat. Number 2, call the airlines, find out if they're willing to assist you in any way. And number 3, ask about speedy passes, okay? So let's move on to packing. You have to make a list. Lists. Think of everything you use on your baby from the morning until night, and then write it all down, and then look at these items and think to yourself, will I use these items where I'm going? Do I need to pack them, or can I buy them when I get there? So write out your lists. Before you set foot out of your house, double check your hand luggage. Make sure you've got these items. Do you have diapers? Take double what you think you're going to need. Do you have wet wipes? Do you have your pacifier? Super important. Have you got everything for feeding? Have you got bottles? The nipples? Have you got your formula? Obviously you're going to have your boobs, so you're all good there. Extra clothes. This is so important. At least 2 extra onesies for the baby, and do not forget an extra t-shirt, maybe even an extra pair of leggings, something lightweight that you can maybe roll up for yourself, because I remember my littlest one pooing on me and then me having to travel all the way to England with poo on my shirt, which was not nice. A few toys and a blanket, and we'll go into that a little bit later, the types of things that you might want to take with you. Please, please, please do not wear a skirt and heels. Those days are long gone. So dress sensibly, you know, trainers or sneakers, as you guys call them, and maybe some boots, you know, things that you can move around in easily, leggings, t-shirts, baggy shirts, that kind of thing. Always pack a small first aid kit. You might need some, I think you guys call it Tylenol, those kinds of things, plasters, whatever you might need for you as a family. So even though you might be going somewhere hot, think about the fact that the airports, the plane rides, maybe inside the taxis, they might be a little bit cold. So pack a lightweight blanket for the baby. And you can get those really large muslins. Take one of those. They are perfect for when you've got the baby laying in the stroller. You can just lay it across the top and it protects the baby from the sun. And they're genius because you can lay them anywhere. They're easy to wash. They're super lightweight. You can roll them up, put them in your bag. Your pump. Do you need to pack your pump? Think about it. Will you really use it while you're away? You may not. So think about the fact of whether you're actually going to use it before you pack it, because it's heavy. So just have a little think about that first. Tip number 10, buy disposable changing pads. These are genius. They fold up into a little square. You can stick them in your handbag and you can use them anywhere. You can put them on the floor of toilets. You can use them in the airport. You can use them in the toilets of the airplane, which is great. You can lay them down. As I said before, make sure you pack 2 onesies for the baby. Make sure they're easy to get on and off. Maybe even zipper might be the easiest ones to get. And a clean t-shirt for yourself. Oh, genius. 2 large Ziploc bags that you can put anything that's stained or dirty or a bit smelly into, and again, you can just roll it up and pop it into your hand luggage. So 2 large Ziploc bags. Always bring extra diapers, always bring extra wipes. Whatever you think you're going to need, it's probably going to be double, so grab those. Antibacterial wipes, super important to wipe the baby's hands, to wipe your hands, and wipe your partner's as well. Whatever you do though, do not pack 100 diapers. Most countries that you go to are going to have diapers that you can buy. Pack enough to get you through the first 3 or 4 days, and if you can, then just buy the rest. That'll be perfect. So that will save a lot of weight. And some companies will even post your diapers to you, to your destination, which is genius. So look into that maybe as well. Have you thought about vaccinations? You know, how old is your baby? Do you maybe want to give your pediatrician a quick call and ask if the baby needs to have any vaccinations before you go? I remember a really good friend of mine a couple of years ago was going to Antigua, and of course she went and then realised that her baby hadn't had a set of vaccinations that it was needed, and she spent the whole holiday worrying about it. So, you know, don't put yourself through that. Make the call before you go. I know we mentioned a little bit earlier about maybe just packing a few toys for the baby. Just really simple things that are super light. So maybe a small baby-proof mirror. They love looking at themselves, and it might even be the mirror that you use for your makeup. So pack that in your bag. Things to chew on, such as maybe a plastic teething toy or a plastic ring, something like that. Small finger puppets, they love those, or obviously lots of peekaboo. You can do lots of stuff with your face. Maybe touchy-feely books, something that's really soft that you can read to them, that they can play with, that, you know, makes crackling noises, that kind of thing. And maybe a small musical toy. They're all really tiny things that you can pack in your hand luggage, but they pack a punch, and the babies love them. This is so important. Please, please pack your baby Bjorn or whatever baby carrier it is that you use. Either pack it in your hand luggage or wear it right from the start. What it does, it means you can pull it out anywhere, anytime. If the baby's fussy, if you're in the airport and it's crying, you can pop it on you, and obviously the baby feels your warmth, nice and snuggly. Hopefully it will help the baby to calm down. Maybe he will even go to sleep. You can walk around the plane, you can walk around the airport, you know, while you're on holiday, maybe even while you're cooking, you know, depending on what you're doing. So take your baby carrier and it will be the biggest saviour. So make sure you take that with you. Have it to hand or have it right from the get-go, whichever. So those are some of the things that you're going to need to pack and you're going to need to be prepared to take with you before you go. So again, just a couple of things just to recap. Before you set foot out the house, double, triple check your hand luggage. Just make sure. So many mums and dads have said, oh my God, I got to the airport and realised I forgot their teddy or their pacifier or whatever it might be, and then they screamed the whole journey. So, you know, just make sure that you double check what you've got. Lightweight blankets, maybe send your diapers there in advance, those types of things. And your baby Bjorn, that's super important. Okay, so bottle feeding. Now, you've got a few different options here. Are you breastfeeding solely? So again, do you need to take your pump? Think about that. If you are bottle feeding, do you want to take formula with you? Are you a little bit worried about what the water's going to be like? Obviously, you can buy bottled water, so that's an option for you. You can buy those already prepared little milks, and then you just sort of screw the teat on top or the nipple on top. Maybe that's an option for you. Or you can buy the already prepared and you just pour it into the bottle. I would always take with me my sterilizer. It was a microwavable one, so I would just give the hotel a quick call. I mean, a lot of the times we stayed in apartments when my kids were quite small, so they had a microwave there. So that's an option. I would pack all my underwear and my socks and things like that inside the sterilizer to utilize the space. So you can do sterilizer tablets, you can do microwave sterilizer. I would always take my own dishwashing liquid, and I would always take my own bottle washer as well, because then I just knew that it was clean and it was, you know, it wasn't 1,000 people had used it before or whatever. So you might want to take those with you, and they don't take up a lot of space. Again, just pack them in a corner, squeeze them in a corner somewhere. If you are exclusively bottle feeding and you're not sure if you're going to be able to buy formula where you're going, bring with you at least an extra 2 to 3 days worth of formula, because you never know what may happen, and the last thing you want to do is be there and be stuck without. One of the things that when you're on the flight, the baby does get very dehydrated, so if you're going to be feeding the baby with a bottle, you might end up feeding them slightly more than normal just to keep them calm and content. So again, pack additional from what you would normally have for your period of time that you're going for. So again, just a little recap on bottle feeding. Take your own dishwashing liquid, take your own little bottle sponge, and then decide how you're going to work it. Are you going to take your already made formula, or are you going to take your cans of formula with you? And please, please make sure that you always take extra. So pre-flight and during the flight, as I mentioned to you, you want to make sure that you pack extra clothes. And what you want to do for your hand luggage is just double, triple check it, as I said. So in terms of actually leaving the house, don't leave it to the last minute to go to the airport. Leave nice and early. It's a relaxed journey. It's so much less stressful for you and your partner. So leave to the airport or leave for the gate with lots of time, because you know there's going to be a poo explosion or something's going to happen that's going to take up an extra 15 minutes of your time, and then all of a sudden you're sweating and stressed out. So we all know those last minute mishaps tend to happen with babies. So just leave that little bit earlier and it will be much less stressful for you. You know your baby. So if you know that before you get on a flight that your baby's going to want to wiggle around and stretch their legs and have a little bit of time outside of its stroller or outside of its car seat or your arms or the baby Bjorn, whatever it might be, take your disposable diaper pad, lay it down, let the baby have a little wiggle before you get on the flight, let them stretch their legs, you can play some games with them, tire them out, give them a chance to just wiggle around and enjoy having that freedom for a little while. But if you know that your baby is the type of baby that when you pick it up and you put it back into the stroller, it's going to scream and it's not going to be happy, then don't get it out in the first place. You know your baby best. You know how they're going to react. I knew with my daughter, it was always best to just leave her. She wasn't one of these children that needed to stretch their legs or whatever. So we just left her in her stroller and she was always super happy. If they're already crawling, you might find that you want to let them out and you want to let them crawl around the airport, which I know is disgusting, but allow them to do it, let them get their wiggles out, and then just anti-back their hands. I know everyone talks about this, and this is probably something you already know, but when you're on the plane for takeoff and landing, sometimes with some babies, it can really affect their ears. So you need to make sure that they have something to suck on, whether that's your boob, whether that's their pacifier, whether it's a bottle, whatever it might be. Make sure you have something there for them. Now, obviously, you know, be sensible about this. If the baby's asleep, don't bother to wake them just to give them a bottle or a pacifier. I mean, you know, allow them to sleep, and chances are they'll sleep straight through it. Now, in my experience, again, I've got two. One child gets really affected by takeoff and landing and the other doesn't. So again, don't stress about it too much, but have these things to hand so you've always got them as an option. This was such a great tip that was given to us. A lot of the time you're traveling to wherever you're going, you get there and you've still got to go and get your car, or you've still got to go and get on the coach to get you to your actual resort. If you know that you're renting a car and you've got a 20-minute journey, half an hour journey, an hour, whatever it might be, sit in the back of the car with baby, because you might find that by this time the baby's a little bit tired. And what it does, it just allows you to keep an eye on the baby, and before they get too distressed, you can give them their pacifier, you can give them a bottle, you can play with them, you can you know, show them some toys, whatever it might be. It just means that you have given yourself the chance to stop that from happening. So that, again, that will hopefully lessen any stress levels traveling to your destination. So just as a little recap, to make sure that you give the baby a little bit of wiggling time, or maybe not, depending on what suits. Pacifiers, bottles, boob, whatever it needs when it's actually on the plane. So the last section that we have is, once you arrive at your destination, just some things that you might want to bear in mind. Don't pack out your diary for the first couple of days. Leave it open. You never know how the baby's going to settle. You might be tired, your partner might be tired. So just leave the first couple of days stress-free, open, to just enjoy whatever's going on in the resort, and just spend some time relaxing, spend a couple of days relaxing. If you don't know whether they offer crib sheets, maybe that's something that you might want to give a quick call about, or just take your own. You know, if you think they're going to be scratchy or dirty or whatever it might be. You know, they're so thin and they weigh nothing. Just take one crib sheet with you. So that's always something that you might want to bear in mind. I get this question, we get this question all the time. If you're entering a different time zone, jet lag. Listen, we all get it. Babies are going to get it. It's not as stressful as you think it's going to be. You don't need to change their complete routine day one. Just do a little bit at a time, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day, to just settle them in and make them more comfortable. But again, you know, the more stress that you put on yourself, the more stressful it becomes. So just relax about it and try not to stress about it too much. You're on vacation, so, you know, take it as it comes. So maybe just aim to do an hour or 2 a day. So I think I want to kind of finalize and finish up by saying traveling with a baby is never as stressful as you think it's going to be. I think I got myself into such a state thinking about getting on an airplane with a baby, and it was wonderful. It was easy, and I felt prepared. And, you know, we got on the flight and we played finger puppets, and, you know, they had something to eat, and then we played for a little while, and then they fell asleep, and it was so much less stressful than I thought it was going to be. So I want to finish up today by saying thank you for being with me for this time, and I hope you've loved the tips that we've given you. Have a wonderful vacation. We hope you have a wonderful time, and again, it will never be as stressful as you think it's going to be, so enjoy. Thank you.